Sri Lanka, what's up? This is Yasmin Yusuf from Decibel.lk, and I have the very cool producer with me, David Luchow.
Yeah, hi. Awesome to be here. Thank you for having me here.
Man, it's good to have you back in the motherland. So what's been going on?
A lot lately, and been working with a couple of bands in Germany, and of course producing some stuff as well there, and doing a lot of mixing and mastering work as well. But yeah, it's very cool to be in Sri Lanka. It's nice to see a lot of very cool things happening here as well, and of course the music scene is pretty awesome down here. I would love to come down.
Man, you should. You should actually set up like a studio in your hometown, Kandy.
Yeah, that is actually a dream of mine. I would really love to do something like that, but of course, at this current or the present time, there's a lot happening in Germany, and I am establishing myself there. So it's I'm kind of torn between two countries at the moment, but let's see how it turns out, and maybe in the future there could be a really high-end studio in Kandy.
Ooh, future goals. I really hope this happens. So for those who don't know you as like a Candian who went to Germany and your producer journey, would you like to explain?
Well, it's a kind of a crazy story because I believe nobody kind of believed me when I said, okay, I would like to pursue a career in music because I played rugby in Trinity College. I captained Trinity College in 2000, and I believe when I told my friends like, okay, I'm gonna be a producer or I'm gonna work in the music industry, can everybody kind of look down on me and kind of had a good laugh because they say it's not gonna happen, It's so you always have this stereotypical thing. You either become go in the banking sector, lawyer, doctor, whatever, and music is kind of like it's not important. But I believe that was kind of a dream, and I had a lot of what you call it, motivation or drive. Just felt right, and I believe it's really important to follow your dreams, follow your heart, and at the end, it happens. If you really believe in what you do, and there's no such thing as impossible. I mean, if you dream something and you really believe in it, you can do it, no matter what circumstances. Like money is not an issue at all, and because I didn't have money when I started, so money is really not an obstacle to do whatever you want. Actually, I believe the dream is bigger.
Word. So how did you start producing? Was it like something that you experimented for a while before you went to Germany, or what's the story there?
My dad is actually a preacher man or pastor, whatever you call it. So he's actually let's just say he's the biggest influence. Like he used to sing in church and stuff.
Okay.
And he produced a lot of gospel music and stuff in Sri Lanka, and he's actually I was exposed to a lot of Christian or gospel music, and especially from Hillsong and stuff like that as a kid as well. And what happened was that got me interested, so I got involved with my dad when he used to go to the studios here in Colombo, and I believe he knew Kirti Pascal, I think, and somehow I think he did his first recording with Kirti in Kirti Pascal's studio, and that's kind of how I got interested in this whole thing. And of course, if you look at the Christian circle of the church scene in Sri Lanka, it's kind of horrible. Like the music, it's everything. The sound system, not really cover, but in the sense like how they handle sound, like everything distorts, and the microphones are rubbish, and everybody screams at the top of their lungs. And so for me, I was like, I got to change this. I would love to change something like this, or do it better, improve it. And that was actually my motivation and my drive to say, okay, one day I'm gonna study this and really know how do the big producers do it? How does the guy really have such an incredible sound? What's the secret behind this? And that was the things that always kind of intrigued me, because I used to listen to like Creed or whatever, this metal stuff. Not really metal, but they're like soft girly stuff right now. But so I used to listen to these guys, and I always had this thing: how did they get that sound? How did they have? Why is the guitar so cool? And why can't I get a guitar sound that sounds so cool? And those things were really like bugging me. So and of course now I do know the answers to all these questions. And so it's been a crazy journey. It's been a really crazy journey. And so that's kind of my background, from where I come from. So I come from the church scene, and now I'm of course producing like pretty cool bands in Germany.
Nice. So what's like your DAW, man?
That's a tough question because I do work with different clients, and each producer has. I also work with other producers, and each have their own preference. Like some work with Logic, Cubase, Pro Tools, then Studio One, some in Reason. So I kind of work with almost all of them that's available in the industry. So I'm kind of not very fluent with most of them, but I believe Pro Tools, Cubase, Logic, Studio One, and Reason. I believe those five. I'm alright with it.
Okay. So, where do we check out music you've produced?
But that's the tough question because like I do produce a lot of labels, and sometimes it's what do you call it? It's like I get the subcontract. So unfortunately, my name doesn't show up in most of the stuff. But that's not an issue. I'm not really bothered about that because working with such amazing people is a far greater experience than just getting a name out there. But I mean, it's coming slowly. But for me, I'm not the type that wants to have my name out there. But it's better that I get the experience and the know-how and work with greater people, and I believe that's far more important than trying to put your name somewhere on a piece of paper.
Word. Are there names though that you've produced for that you can spill on this interview?
Well, all I can say is like at this point, I did have a session before I came back. Before I came to Sri Lanka, I recorded two of the members from James Brown's band,
Okay.
and they were touring Germany, and they came down to one of the studios that I had the opportunity to work at, and yeah, we had a crazy session actually, a more 8-hour session.
Whoa.
And I think I've never heard a brass section in my life that sounded so good, and the coolest thing is like I never had to edit it ever, not one single note.
No way.
They played so tight. I was like, all right, so that's the standard of recording. Because normally if I record, I sit for about 2 or 3 hours at least minimum, to even with professionals to record, to edit stuff and shift wave files. These guys they nailed it. There were 3. It's a set of 3. Incredible alignment there. These guys are crazy. So I don't think I'll ever record brass section like that in my life again.
But you'll hear it and you'll know that he was part of that recording process and whatnot. So you do quite a few tutorials on YouTube in Sinhala. Do you plan to sort of continue that, or maybe like have workshops in relation to that sometime in the future?
Yeah, I would love to do that. In Sri Lanka, I would really love to impart my knowledge to the younger generation and really empower them and help them to be very good producers. Because I believe a lot of Sri Lankans have a lot of potential, I mean, because I'm one. I was never that smart in school, everybody thought I was kind of a dummy. But I believe I saved my brain for something better, so let's just put it that way. Yeah, to encourage young people. And of course, my singing is really bad because when you speak German, you really have to use your brain a lot because it's a very tough language to speak. But I believe I've done 3 tutorials on YouTube. Of course, it's always a very difficult process because I work a lot as well. And just to find time to sit down and do a video is really tough. So till now, I just managed 3. And of course, I would love to continue that and finish it. And I'm really looking forward to do some workshops in Sri Lanka as well. So, but that depends on how we can organize it.
But that is a future goal.
That is definitely a future goal. And I believe it's not too far away.
You never know. Things could happen. So where can people find some of your work if they want to check it out? Like, do you have a SoundCloud?
I do not have a SoundCloud. I mean, I do have a SoundCloud, but I think my SoundCloud is very old. Like, the stuff there is really, unfortunately, not really good. But you could Google on YouTube or whatever, and if the label or the artist has put my name, then it'll show up on YouTube. But most of the time, I have a lot of mastering work actually on Spotify. I think I have an iTunes as well. I think I might have done maybe over 60 singles.
Whoa.
Mastered over 60 singles for iTunes and labels around the world actually. Not only Germany, but also I get work from Japan and also America.
So now you know the man a little better, Sri Lanka. If you have one thing to tell aspiring producers, what would it be?
Dream big. Dream big, never give up. And of course, there's a plague that everybody says, like Sri Lankans use a lot of crack work and stuff like that. Don't worry about that. Like, in sense, like, you should definitely buy the software you're working with, because of course, I'm guilty of that too, because when I was in Sri Lanka, I was broke. I mean, stone broke. And I didn't have money to buy any software. But I believe when I got the chance to really work and I started earning money off my productions, then I really put money aside, or I really put a lot of my work aside and bought the software and bought everything I work with, because there is kind of what can I say, like a, not a myth, but um, hindrance when you use crack software, because you do have a lot of software, but you have no clue what you're using. You have a ton of software, you have a ton of plugins, but you're not very familiar with what you're doing. You're just, watching tutors, putting stuff, but you really don't understand what you're doing. So when you buy software, then you can't buy such a lot. You just buy a few, like you manage to buy 10 plugins or whatever, and then you really have to focus on those 10. That means you got to earn your money with just those 10 plugins, and that makes you really good, because you really know those 10 plugins quite well. So once you come to that level, then you could go up, and then you can always upgrade and buy whatever you want to, and you know where you're going.
Exactly.
And I believe that was the problem I faced when I went to Germany, because like you had tons of crack software, and you just didn't know what to use. Like if you needed a certain sound, you're like, okay, how do I get this sound? You're completely clueless because you got like thousands of plugins. So I mean that's something that I actually put myself into. So I thought, okay, I got to make it legit. That's a big part if you want to succeed, especially in the industry, because like it's very important, because labels will come check your work, and if you're a good artist, they will really like know that you're using legit stuff, because later down the line you could get into trouble. Of course, if you're doing it in Sri Lanka, I don't know what the laws are right now, but in Germany it's pretty crazy. Okay, good. Let's. But in Germany it's very, very strict. So actually, I have had labels actually contact me and ask me for licenses as well. So yeah, that's that's kind of the small thing that I would like to tell producers. And yeah, of course, dream big, never give up, and learn, because I'm always still learning. I believe I've met some guys as well, and just because you go to a audio engineering school doesn't really mean that you're good. Because I did go to audio engineering school, I did went to SAE in London, but I absolutely could burn the certificate right now because it's rubbish. I don't believe it brought me anything, because I just have a piece of paper. I consider it as a piece of paper that I have to throw on a wall somewhere. But I believe experience is a bigger teacher, and of course working with greater engineers, because I believe they have far more experience in the trade, and they could give you tips that nobody else could, and they have the secrets of success, and not some lecturer who's just passed his exams with all 100%. Yeah, exactly. He's got everything 100%, and then he's lecturing and hasn't produced an album in his life. So you need to go behind somebody who has a track record with some proper names. And I believe I made the right choice of working with some top engineers. I did go for a lot of workshops for Alan Parson.
What?
I did do one workshop. I always follow him, what he does. And I did also meet Fab DuPont. He's also one a pretty crazy producer in New York, and so I do have a bit of contact with some good producers and stuff like that. So it's very important to follow really good producers, because I believe it depends. Like if you really want to be good, then yeah, you gotta go with the big boys, and not play with the small kids.
That's a good one. Thanks a lot for your time, man. And here's hoping to see you in person all over again, maybe sometime this year, doing that workshop.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, would love to do the workshop, and of course, see all you guys here again.
Jai Weva.
Jai Weva.
And that was a